dear students, we are in 10th standard. I am going to take up the physics chapter, that is human eye and the colorful world around us. In the previous class, we have discussed about the structure of human eye and its function. In today's class, let us talk about what do you mean by refraction and the different phenomena of light. The next concept which I am going to deal is the refraction of light through the prism. Okay, we have studied about what do you mean by refraction. What is the meaning of refraction? Yes, the bending of light, the property of light. Okay, when it travels from one medium to another medium, it bends. Okay, the bending of light is known as the bending of light when it travels from one medium to another is known as refraction of light. This is one property of light. So when it travels from air, okay, air to glass, it changes its direction. Okay, it changes its direction. We have seen through the many activities in the previous classes also. It's the property of light when it travels from one medium to another, it changes its direction of traveling. So that property of light is nothing but refraction of light. And it have so many applications, so many phenomena we can give to this property of light. So now let's discuss about refraction of light through a prism. What happens when the light get reflected through the prism?
Hello scientific people. Today we are going to study the refraction experiment from the prism, and we are also going to measure the angle of deviation from the prism. And for this experiment you require a prism. Here we are using typically a prism whose angle of prism is 60 degree, equilateral prism, and protector, scale, few softboard pins, eraser and pencil. So let's begin with the experiment, and this experiment will be almost the same as the refraction through glass slab experiment. So what do we need to do is, first of all, take two softboard pins and fix it on the wooden pad. So this is A4 size paper on the wooden pad, and now I am fixing both the softboard pins over here on two edges so that my paper, A4 size paper, does not move. Now these softboard pins, put it aside, the all rest four softboard pins you would be requiring. Now what am I going to do is, I am going to put this prism over here, and then I am going to mark the outlines. Okay, so here we have made the outline. Pardon me. Now we are going to make an incident ray, and the incident ray, say for example I wish to make the angle of incidence is 60 degree. I choose this point to be the point of incidence. So this part of the protector, I need to put it over here. Angle of incidence 60 degree. So we know that the normal would be 90 degree. So this is 90 degree. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So the 60 degree would be over here. We are not measuring the angle from here, otherwise it would be 30 degree. We are measuring the angle from 90 degree to 30 degree. That's why it is 60 degree. Mark a point on 90 degree as well. Now this would be your normal, and this would be the angle of incidence, right? Okay. Now two pins, you are supposed to fix it over here on the incident ray. Now put the prism back over over here at its mark position. Now you are supposed to see these two pins from this side. They will be visible to you. And now I'll be seeing the pin, these two pins from this side, because this is the incident ray, that would be the refracted ray, and the emergent ray would be somewhere over here. So I need to see the pins from here, and you need to see it very carefully with one eye closed to avoid the parallax error. So let me do it, and afterwards what you are going to do is, when you see these two pins over here, we have another two pins which we are going to put it on this side, and we'll make sure that these two pins are in straight line arrangement with these two pins. So okay, so now these two pins, when I was looking at these two pins from this side, because this is the emergent ray which is coming to my eye, so I would be seeing these two pins in this line, and now these two pins I have attached in such a way that all these four pins are visible in a straight line. Let's see it. So if you watch these two pins, these two green colored pins are visible over here, right? And now if you see that all four pins are appearing in a straight line. You guys are lucky because you can see the spectrum band of 7 colors at the back side. So you can see very carefully all four pins are placed in a straight line, and quite spectrum is visible on the top part. You can see that there is a spectrum, so dispersion is also seen over here, right? Okay. Now what we are going to do is, now we are going to mark these two places. So I am going to remove these pins. Now we'll put the prism aside. Now no need of these pins also. These 2 points join with a straight line over here. This will be your emergent ray, and from here the normal is at an angle of 90 degree. So this will be the angle of emergence, this is the angle of incidence. Now I am going to join these 2 points, and this would be my refracted ray. Incident ray, refracted ray. Now you can see that it is, instead of going straight, it is bending towards normal due to the refraction. Now our main task is to find the angle of deviation. We know that this angle is 60 degree, right, angle of prism. Now I am going to extend the incident ray forward, and I am going to extend the emergent ray backwards. So I get this angle, that is called angle of deviation. So let's measure with the help of a protractor. Okay, how do you measure this? See, make sure that this point is falling over here, so like this, and the angle of deviation, this line matching with this line, and the angle of deviation is just over 40 degrees. It is approximately 42 degrees. So the angle of deviation for the prism is 42 degrees, right? And I kept the angle of incidence as 60 degree. If you just want to measure the angle of incidence, I had kept it 60 degree. So when I kept this angle 60 degree, I got the angle of deviation is this. Let me measure the angle of emergence as well. So angle of emergence with respect to the normal, 10 degree, 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree. You can see that from here 90 degree, this is 10, 20, 30. Now I am mistaken, it is, yeah, it is the same only, 40, no, 35, sorry, because this is these are the gap of 5, so this angle is 35 degree, right? So this was the experiment about the refraction through prism. Hopefully you have understood this. If
Okay, when you sometimes, okay, rarely you can observe the rainbow in the sky. So how the rainbow forms? What is the reason for the formation of rainbow? And how they obtain the 7 colors? We can see the 7 colors in the rainbow. So what is the reason behind the spectacular colors in the rainbow? So the reason is the dispersion of light. So let's conduct an activity to understand what do you mean by dispersion of light. So when you take a prism, okay, when you take the prism and pass white light through it, okay, it will bend and at a particular point it will be split into different colors. Okay, the white light, when you pass through the prism, it get refracted and it get refracted and reflected, and while emerging out it forms the components of color. We can obtain different components of color in this refracted light. So the components of the color which is obtained when the light is passed through this prism, that we call it as spectrum. So when we pass the white light through the prism, at a particular point it get reflected and refracted and it emerges out as a band of colors. So we obtain the different colors while emerging out from the prism. So we obtain the colors in the band, which are they? Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So this band of color, okay, which is obtained from the beam of white light, okay, the band of color obtained from the beam of light is known as spectrum. What do you mean by spectrum? The band of color obtained from the beam of white light is known as spectrum. So always the rainbow contains these color. When what happens? When the light passes through the prism, it gets refracted and it emerges out as a band of colors. So we have the colors violet, indigo, blue, then green, orange and red. So while bending, you can observe that while bending, the red color is least bent light and violet color is most bent. Okay, violet color is most bent. So while splitting, the red color is least bent and the violet color is more bent based on its wavelength. Okay, then so we can obtain these colors violet, indigo. The sequence is as follows: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So the splitting of light into its component color is known as dispersion. So what do you mean by dispersion? It's a phenomena, splitting of light So dispersion is a phenomena. What do you mean by dispersion? Splitting of light into its component colors is known as dispersion of light. The splitting up of light into its component colors. The white light consists of these colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So when you pass through the prism, it gets refracted and you will get the band of colors. So that process, that phenomena is nothing but dispersion of light. We can give so many examples for the dispersion of light in a nature. In the atmosphere, we can observe this phenomena of light. This was invented. The first used this concept by Isaac Newton. Isaac found the spectrum of white light. So he used the prism and he passed the white light through the prism and he obtained the spectrum of this white light. After that, again he tried to use the he used another prism to obtain further more color. Okay, he tried whether we will obtain further more color through this spectrum of light. So after that he didn't get that any result. Okay, he didn't get any result. So that what he did, he kept the prism one like this and he inverted another prism like this and he passed this spectrum through the another inverted prism. So when he used that technique, when he tried that, he obtained the white light through that. Okay, when he used the inverted prism, when he passed the when he passed the spectrum of light through the inverted prism, he obtained the white light. So he understood the reason behind the formation of rainbow. He connect the idea of formation of rainbow with this dispersion of white light through the prism. He found that white light emerging through this prism. So that gave an idea that okay, the sunlight is made up of 7 colors. In the sunlight there are 7 colors are present. So he referred that light as a white light. Any color that gives the spectrum of colors, any color that gives the spectrum of similar this colors is known as white light. He referred it as a white light. So how the rainbow forms? So the formation of rainbow formation is a natural phenomena caused by the dispersion of sunlight. Okay, so, formation of rainbow is a natural phenomenon occurring by the property of dispersion of light. So what happens always after the rain shower, you can observe the rainbow formation. Okay, you can observe the rainbow in the sky. What happens during the rainbow? The rainbow always forms opposite to the direction of sunlight. Okay, if the sun is appearing here, the rainbow will form opposite to that. The reason is what happens, we know that the sunlight is a white light. So it contains 7 colors. Okay, when the sunlight forms on the droplet of water, the rainbow is formed by the sunlight. Okay, the rainbow is formed by the sunlight, which is caused due to the dispersion of tiny droplet of water. So always the rainbow forms opposite to the position of this sun. So what happens when the sunlight enters, when the sunlight falls on this drop of water, it enters the water droplet and it get reflected. Total internal reflection takes place and it emerges out as a result of refraction. Okay, and there is dispersion and internal reflection of light takes place. So that causes the formation of rainbow. That is the reason why we see the rainbow in the sky. The rainbow is formed. The rainbow is caused due to the dispersion and internal reflection of sunlight inside the water droplet. That is the reason. So when the white light falls, when the white light passes through this water droplet, it gets internal reflected and it passes out, it emerges out as a dispersion, as a result of dispersion. So there is the rainbow is formed due to the dispersion and internal reflection process, dispersion and internal reflection phenomenon. So we can obtain the 7 colors in the rainbow. Atmospheric refraction. In the atmosphere also we can see the natural phenomena, refraction. So during the sunny day, if you observe on the road, okay, while passing on the road, sometimes you can feel like some waves are appearing on the road, okay, or you feel like some water is there in front of you, okay, little far away from you. But uh, when you move on, when you go near to it, it get disappeared. The reason is that is nothing but example for the mirage. What do you mean by mirage? Mirage formation you can see during the sunny day, very when the day is very hot, that day you can see the mirage. What happens during the sunny day? If you consider this as a road, okay, the water, the air, okay, the air in the lower level is more hot air is present. The air on the road is the air on the road, okay, is a little hotter compared to the air above it, okay. This will be little cool air. So it forms two different layers. The hot air, okay, when you boil any water, this lower part will get more heat compared to this will be heated quickly compared to the above part. That is why it forms two layers. And if you consider there is one object or any tree is there, what happens to the person? This when the light enters, when the light passes through this point to, okay, this end to this end, it gets refracted, and you can see, you can think that this object, instead of the real existence of the object here, you can feel that the object is little above it. So the reason is you can so it forms two layer. So the medium vary, the medium vary, and the focal length of this air vary, and the light get refracted here, and you can you can think that the size of this, the position of the tree is here, and you feel that the position of the tree is here. The actual position of the tree is here only, but you think that it feels like it came little above from the ground level. So the reason is refraction of light. Here what happens, when the light passes through different medium, it get refracted so many times, and the object will appear in the different position instead of its real actual position. And then twinkling of stars. What is the reason for twinkling of stars? There also what happens, okay, if the star is here, you think that once if you see the star is here, after some time, after few seconds, you think that appears here, sometimes here, next here, like that, okay. That causes the twinkling of the star. The reason is you cannot see the star here only. Its position gets rapidly changes. The position of the star rapidly changes. That causes the twinkling of the star. The reason is, okay, when the light from the star, we know that the star is very far away from us, and when it passes through this atmospheric layer, okay, when it passes through this medium, okay, between us and this star there is atmospheric layer. So when it passes through the medium, it get refracted, and it's when it gets refracted, its focal length, its size, position, everything varies, and it appears in different position. Once it appears here, once next here, and sometimes it looks very dull, sometimes it looks very bright. So that is the reason why we can feel that the star twinkles at the night. when the light, okay, travels from the solar system, okay, from this medium to the earth surface, okay, it continuously fluctuates, okay. There we can see a large amount of fluctuation because of the size of the star, because of the, okay, far away, okay, because of the position, okay, because of the distance from us, all these matters. That is why because of the fluctuation it appears in different position, and it's because of the changes in the atmospheric condition of the earth is not constant, the atmospheric condition always rapidly changes. So all this causes the twinkling of the stars. It is just appearing in different positions because of changes in the focal length, changes in the size. So it continuously changes its position. So sometimes we feel like it is brighter, sometimes we feel like it is very diminished star. So that causes the twinkling, that we call it as twinkling of the star. Actually it remains the same, but it appears in different position because of it is very far away from us, it appears as a dot on the sky. So that we call it as twinkling of the stars. So why don't we see the twinkling of the planets? Because they are closer to us, okay, their size is not too much small compared to these stars. So the planets are closer to the earth, planets are closer to the earth as compared to these stars. So that is why you don't see the fluctuation, or because of the size, they are closer, we can they appears little in a bigger size. That is why we cannot see the fluctuation in the appearance of the planets. Okay, then the reason behind the advanced sunrise and delayed sunset is also the same, atmospheric refraction. So what happens because of the refraction of light, okay, we can observe, okay, the actual position of the sun is there only, but okay, yeah, consider there is a atmosphere and we are standing here, okay, consider we are on the earth and actual position of the sun is here, and because of this atmospheric refraction, okay, instead of appearing the sun here, it looks here, okay, little above it. So we can see the sun 2 minutes earlier before it appears on the position, okay, instead of it appears here, because of the refraction it appears here. So we can observe the advance 2 minutes, we can observe the 2 minutes advanced sunrise and delayed sunrise, always it happens. Okay, the interplay of light with different objects give rise to different natural phenomena in our surroundings. So the interplay of light with different objects, such as the role of light in the scattering of light, or the color of the sea, or the color of the sky, and the appearance of the sun during the sunset and sunrise is because of the nature of the light with different objects. So let's see the scattering of light. So we have studied about, it's a property of the light, okay, when the scattering of light is nothing but it's a property of the objects. Which objects we have studied in the 9th standard, that is the property of the colloidal solution. When we pass the light through the true solution, the size of the particles is very small, so they are not able to scatter the light through them, okay, they don't scatter the light through them, the path is not visible, the path of the particles is not visible during the when we pass the light through the true solution. But if you take the colloidal solution, the size of the particles is greater compared to the true particles of the true solution, so they are able to scatter the beam of light through them. So the path of beam of light is visible through the colloidal solution. So this causes the Tyndall effect. So what is the meaning of Tyndall effect? We can observe this Tyndall effect in the rooftop home, or in the denser forest and all. So what is that? Okay, when the light passes through the small hole in the rooftop house, what happens? The particles are visible through that, because the particles, the dust and smoke particles, are like the colloidal particles. The size is like the colloidal particles. They are example for the colloidal particles. The dust smoke are the dust and smoke particles are the example for the colloidal particles. So their size of the particles is relatively greater, so they are able to scatter the light through them. So when the light passes through the small hole in the rooftop home, or in the a denser forest, in the denser forest, what happens? There are the tiny water droplet present in the form of smoke, or in the form of fog. They scatter the beam of light. So we can observe the Tyndall effect in the forest also. In the canopy of the forest, we can observe the scattering of light by the Tyndall effect. The effect is known as the Tyndall effect. So we know that our atmosphere is an example for the homogeneous mixture. Means it consists of different types of variety of particles are present in the atmosphere. So it is an example for the heterogeneous mixture. Means different types of particles are present. The particles around us, the smoke, dust particles, are not similar. They are the mixture of different types of components. So the earth atmosphere is made up of heterogeneous mixture. So this scattering of light takes place in a surrounding, in the atmosphere. What happens during the scattering of the light? Okay, the color of the scattered light depends on the size of the particles. The color of the scattered light depends on the size of the particles. So if the size of the particles is very small, it scatters the light, which is if the size of the particles is very fine, then they are able to scatter the blue color light. Mostly if the size of the particles is very small, they scatter the blue color light. Then if the size of the particles is bigger enough, they are able to scatter the scattered light will be having the longer wavelength. And still more, if the scattered light, if the particle size is very large, bigger enough, then they scatter the white color light. So it depends on the which type, color of the scattered light depends on the size of the particles present in the atmosphere. So the next question in front of you is, why is the color of the sky is blue? Why is the color of the clear sky is blue? So we know that, okay, if the wavelength is if the size of the scattering of light depends on the size of the particles, right? So the scattering of light, the color of scattering of light depends on the size of the particles. Size of the particle. If the size of the particle is less, they scatter the blue light, because its wavelength is if the size of the particle is greater, large, then it scatters the red color, okay, because red color have the greater wavelength, large wavelength. So we know that the color of the scattering of light depends on the size of the particles. If the size of the particle is less, if the size of the particle is small, that means it scatters a color which is having a less wavelength. If the size of the particle is larger, then it scatters the color which is having larger wavelength. So in case of the atmosphere, in the atmosphere what happens? The particles, the size of the particles, the size of the dust smoke particle is very small, very fine particles they are. So they are capable of scattering the color which is having smaller wavelength, that is blue color. That is why the sky appears blue in color. The clear sky appears blue in color. Then okay, if consider if there is no atmosphere, if there is no atmosphere, what happens? There is no these particles, the particles are not present, right? So then there is no scattering of light takes place. The sky will appear dark. That is why, okay, if the person is flying at a very high altitude, for him the sky appears darker in color. For the astronauts and all, the sky appears dark in color because there is no atmosphere. If you reach the high altitude, that is the reason. Because of the presence of atmosphere, in the atmosphere there are very fine particles are present. They scatter the light which is having smaller wavelength, that is blue color. That is why our sky, the clear sky appears blue in color. Then what is the reason for the during the sunset and sunrise, the sky appears reddish in color? What is the reason? What is the reddish appearance of the sun? Let's conduct an activity to understand the reason for the reddish appearance of the sun during the sunset and sunrise.
Let us do an activity to understand the blue color of the sky and the reddish appearance of the sun at the sunrise or sunset. A source of light is placed at the focus of the convex lens to give parallel beam of light. A beaker with water, a cardboard with slit, a convex lens and a screen are arranged as shown. Add sodium thiosulfate and concentrated sulfuric acid into the beaker and stir well. Pass the beam of light and observe the solution and the screen. We find fine microscopic sulfur particles precipitating in about 2 to 3 minutes. As the sulfur particles begin to form, we can observe the blue light from the sides of the beaker. This is due to scattering of short wavelengths by minute colloidal sulfur particles. Observe the color of the transmitted light from the fourth side of the glass tank facing the circular hole. It is interesting to observe at first the orange-red color and then bright crimson-red color on the screen.
So during the sunrise and sunset, what happens? Okay, the sun has to the white light, okay, from the sun has to pass through many layers. Okay, in the atmosphere so many layers is there. The light has to pass through so many layers in the atmosphere, and it has to pass through so many distances, so much distances to reach our eye, observer's eyes. That is why so that time the distance is more. So that time what happens? the light which is having less wavelength, there are number of particles. Since the distance is larger and it has to pass through so many layers, okay, the atmosphere consists of large number of fine particles. So during the sunrise and sunset, because of the presence of these fine particles in the atmosphere, they scatter the light which is having less wavelength, that is blue color light. They scatter the blue color light. Scattering is nothing but, okay, spreading of the light. Okay, the blue color light spreads more. So that is why the blue color is more scattered during the sunrise and sunset, and the color which is less scattered, the color which is having larger wavelength, that is observed, that can be seen by the observer. So we can see only the red color light during the sunrise and sunset. That is why the sun appears reddish in color, because the remaining colors, the color which is having a shorter wavelength, get scattered more, and only the color which is less scattered, the color which is having longer wavelength, is least scattered. That is why we can see the reddish color of the sun during sunrise and sunset. And in case of the during at noon, the distance of the sunlight to the observer is relatively small. Compared to this, the size, the distance between the light coming from the sun to the observer is comparably very small. That is why here, okay, the light, we can see the white color light. Only the little of the blue color and least the color which is having least wavelength is scattered. Here the scattering is very less. Here during the near the horizon the scattering of light is more, and in case of at the noon time the scattering of light is less. Okay, because the distance is very less and the number of particles are very less compared to the particles near the horizon. That is why the blue color and violet colors and all is least scattered. That is why we can observe the sky in blue color. The sky appears clear white in color. That is the reason. And if you see, okay, the danger symbols always is marked by red color. What is the reason? We can show the danger symbol by red color. What is the reason? The reason is the red color is the least scattered light. The red color is the least scattered color. The scattering of the light is very less. Okay, the reason is during the night time and in the morning or in the evening, smoke and fog is more. That is why if the smoke and fog particles are present in a surrounding, they scatter the light. We know, right? If we use the red color light, the red color is least scattered. That is why the color is least scattered. If the danger symbol is kept for a longer distance also, it is visible to the observer. It is less scattered. We can see it clearly. It appears clearly. That is the reason. Okay, dear students, in today's class we have discussed about the property of the light. Okay, the interplay of light with different objects. What are the reasons for all these natural phenomena? And you can connect this. Okay, you can connect this logic in a day-to-day natural phenomena occurring in a daily life. So you can reason out what is the reason why they put this danger symbol in red color, and what is the reason for the blue color appearance of the sea. Why the deep ocean, why the sea in the deep ocean looks very blue? The reason is because the color of the sky is scattered in water. That is the reason. Thank you, students.